Hey, got Jesse back at you. I'm out here working on my 91 Strawberry LX hatch. So next things, I did order the smooth inner fenders, and then I have the parts here for the frame rail repair. So I'm gonna get this thing off the dolly for the front and kind of get it set here semi-permanently and get some jack stands under here and get this dolly out from underneath the front of the car so I can work on those frame rails. And I'll come back and show you where I get to. And looking out in the garage again, kind of making a mess, knocking some rust off the Mustang. I hate to say, but I got the sway bar brackets, both sides off now tonight. I was out here. I had some spot weld cutters, some 2 cheap little ones from Harbor Freight, and I think I just wasn't using them right or trying to drill too fast, but I ended up busting both of those up within a few minutes and after a couple spot welds. But as you can see, there's quite a few spot welds on here, 36 spot welds, and I probably busted the bits up after about 6 or 7 spot welds. So I just ended up taking a drill bit to it and then just kind of countersinking those a little bit, thinking I was past where the spot welds were, got them knocked off, and see if you can see it here, but it was kind of rusty under there. I took a wire wheel to it too, but you can see this is the one sway bar bracket that I took off of the passenger side, the right hand side. So you can see it's pretty crusty in there. Thank you, good old Minnesota and your salty roads. Although I don't think this car was driven much in the winter, but it probably was a little bit at the beginning of its life maybe. But as far, like I've mentioned before, as far as this car goes, it's not too bad as far as like I said, as far as a Minnesota Finally getting car. Out in the garage again and messing around with the Mustang here. So I got from the Scott Rod Fabs, I got the frame rail repair kit, as you can see here. So I started coming out here. I bought myself some nice spot weld drill bits, or a spot weld cutter from off of Amazon. So it came with the one, the main piece with and then all the extra cutters. So got extra cutters and then a couple extra little pins for in the middle of that. But going around and trying to get this frame rail out of the passenger side, working on that first. So I went through, and then as soon as I drilled through or cut these 4 spot welds, or started cutting a couple of these, and then this frame rail just bonk, popped right away from the shock tower there, strut tower. Working on the bottom side of it here. Grab my light. So I got all that. It's all broke loose there. Yeah, this piece actually doesn't look that bad, but where it's really bad is there's some rust up here on the front of the shock tower, strut tower, and you can't really see it in there too well. But where it's really bad is down inside there where the strut tower drops down next, or in front of the, down into the frame rail. I think there's a piece there that's all rotted out. So we'll see once I get that pulled out of here. I think I'm pretty close to having it out. I spent a couple hours last night. I'm not a professional, merely an amateur, and this is the first time I've really done work like this, cutting into spot welds. Well, besides pulling the sway bar brackets off. But so I'm not recording any of the work that I'm doing actually cutting spot welds, but I thought I'd pop the camera on every once in a while and just show the progress that I've made. All right, making a little progress here. I have my trusty shop doggy out here with me again, as usual. Right, Barney? Ooh, puppy. All right, enough of the doggy. All right, so I got this top piece off. So here's the replacement. Watch out, Barney. So there's the replacement piece. There's the piece that I pulled off. So as you know, on the other side of the frame rail, it's pretty rusty, so, or the shock tower. So here's the side of the shock with the shock tower here. And you can see it's pretty crusty, especially right there. It looks pretty solid yet, but you can tell there was some rust and corrosion chewing its way through there. But I had a heck of a time. I drilled out these 4 spot welds at first. And then I was having a hell of a time trying to bend it and pry it on up out of here. And I went around to the other side and realized there was 4 more spot welds up higher that I noticed when I climbed around to the other side of the car. But here, we'll take a look at this. You can see here, it's pretty crusty in there. You can see here, it's pretty well rotted through the bottom of the strut tower here. So you can kind of see, well, you can see there's the top of the frame rail on the other side where it actually sticks up past. And we'll go around there in a minute and look at it. But it looked like it was pretty solid. Back here, it looks okay. This stuff's all rotten out here. But you can see there's a big gaping hole right up in there. Glad I ordered the Scott Rod Fab frame rail repair kit. But you can see that's where I did the 4 more spot welds that I had to cut out of there. I started doing some measurements now to figure out where all the holes are at in the bottom for replacing that frame rail, so I can start marking stuff off and measuring and cutting to cut that out in the garage again. Finally getting motivated and getting working on this. So I think I showed this last night. I had pulled all this plate out of here and I'm working on cutting out all the rusty stuff. You can kind of see it there. But I've been out here with the cutoff wheel for a little while now. You can kind of see I got it cut all the way around there to show what we deal with in the Midwest here. So I had my mask on. I was kicking up a lot of dust here. But I got this all cut all the way around along the bottom edge of the frame rail. You can see some gunk falling out of there already. And all the way around, I got my new Scott Rod Fab parts here. But just to show, it's pretty crusty inside there. That is about ready to come apart. Big pile of rust here on the floor. But look at this, guys. So you can see the back part of the strut tower, it's pretty solid there. I think I kind of beat it up when I was trying to pound that other cover piece that's up here off. But you can kind of see here, that's supposed to be a solid piece from here on down to the bottom. I think just like this is here. But yeah, look at all this rust here, you guys. Dust, rust and dust and sand. I think I might get the vacuum and get this stuff cleaned up. But you can see this is what we get to deal with up here. The other side of the frame rail looks pretty solid yet, at least. Sorry, I'll try to hold the camera in a decent way. But it looks like it might just be surface rust on that side, so I'm going to try to get that cleaned up. But I'm going to get all this knocked out of here. You can see there's rust scale and stuff up in there. So I'm going to work on getting this cleaned up. Gonna cut out a little bit more here and go from there. And I think I'm gonna cut a little more out of here. I think I'm gonna have to cut along the bottom here. I think that's what we got here. And see what we can do. I'm gonna have to cut up ahead of this a little ways, I think, to get that kind of cleared out. Last update for the night, it's February 19th. Alright, might be where I call it quits for the night. Yeah, as you can see, got a big old cavernous hole in the frame rail right now. But as you can see here, got a nice big hole in the frame. You can still see there's some scale and stuff up in there. But I did end up cutting it kind of ahead of the shock tower here, strut tower. You can see there's a big old hole there, but there's a piece that fits down in there. Yeah, but there's this piece that fits up in there. But there's a piece can fill that in on both sides. I think I might just cut this one out just because I did kind of beat it up a little bit. So I'll probably pull that out of there. And just have to cut out this bottom section of the frame rail. Scott Rod Fab kit, you leave this side of the frame rail in. So it looks pretty good up here. A little scaly down here in the bottom. But it looks like it's worse up this side. So I'm gonna pull this piece out of here and kind of see what that looks like. Hopefully I can get that pulled out of there and kind of save that, and hopefully not have to replace this side of the frame rail, just to kind of keep some rigidity here is what I was thinking. But I have to pull this out, and I want to see how bad this frame rail is moving forward here. It seems pretty solid, at least on the bottom part. It's just the surface rust on the inside of the frame rail. So we'll go from there. I think I got everything cut out of there that I plan on cutting out of there. That's about where it had the most rust up onto this other side here. Either way, we got plenty of material here. This one fits up inside the frame rail. So we'll have some trimming to do to get it down and fit inside of there. The next day, February 20th, I did get out here and make some progress. So as you can see here, I was doing some more cutting. We got these pieces that go up in here. Got this piece that goes with the frame rail. This piece goes up inside and goes all the way up to the shock tower. So I wanted to get the rest of this cut out. So as you see here, there's that rust hole. I thought I'd show you guys as I pull this out of here. So I made a cut along the bottom, as you can kind of see, towards the side of the frame rail, all the way back as far as I could. And I didn't go back so that I'd be too far that I couldn't weld that back up and past there. So here we are. Here's the last of it. So, as you can see, doesn't look too bad. It looks pretty solid there. But there's that big gaping hole. It should be solid like this. So, all the holes, little round holes you see there are the spot welds. I did put a jack stand up under the front of the rad support here to try to hold that in case it did start to droop or something here, but I thought there should be enough material left there. You can see there's a bunch of scale and stuff up in there. I'm gonna have to come in here, try to clean this up the best that I can before I start welding things back together. So that'll be the next thing. Figure out what I'm gonna do. Looks like we got some rust back in here. I don't know what that is. Oh, it's just off the bottom of there. Well, maybe while I'm in here this far, maybe I should do this panel. But I'm just afraid if I start cutting this out of here, this whole thing's gonna start to droop. Maybe it'll be okay. Anyway, I'd have to just get some sheet metal to make that, I think. I don't know if I can buy that anywhere. But I think that's my next step, just getting these frame rails cleaned out and see what I'm really dealing with. So I'll start moving that around and clean up some mess.